I'm sharing here one of my favorite resilience tools, the approach of storyboarding, because I really find helpful this question when I'm facing something difficult. What does a story of resilience look like here? And what I like about this six-part shift storyboarding process is it has a balance of positive and negative in it. It has a balance of naming problems, but also inviting exploration of responses, constructive responses. But it also guides you through a process that ends on encouraging you to identify a step you can take in the next 7 days. And in terms of what builds confidence in resilience, it's when you do it, when you see resilience as something you do more than have, that's actually when you build up memories of, I faced that and I got through. I faced that and I found a way through. And the more you build up those kind of memories, you can have a sense of, well, if I did that then I can do this here. We can also learn from and be inspired by each other's stories as well. A lot of my work is about helping people develop their resilience toolkit, but also this storyboarding is just the first of 7 pathways. In my book, 7 Ways to Build Resilience, I map out 7 pathways for supporting resilience, and storyboarding is just the first of those. We also look at emotional first aid, thinking flexibly, overload management, problem solving, strengthening support, and stickability. And then we have time for a practice period where you engage in a resilience project where you think, okay, whose resilience am I going to support? It might be my own, might be someone else I'm supporting, or it might be a collective resilience I'm playing a part in. And I'm going to give myself some time, longer than a week, perhaps about 6 or 7 weeks, and see how I get on. But then we come back together and see how you enhance and have reflective practice. Um, if you want some resources, there's my book, 7 Ways to Build Resilience, and also Active Hope, which looks much more at resilience in terms of facing larger problems, the bigger picture problems, that eco-anxiety and the social the toxic cultures and social division and so many bigger picture in our world. It's like, how do we play a part in a larger pattern of resilience in relation to those? But I've talked a bit, and I'm just wondering how this is landing with you and what you're taking away. So I'm gonna invite time for any questions, and any questions any of you have. Madeline, is there anything you'd like to pick up from what's been said in the chat window just recently?
I was just writing in there myself that my takeaway is this really strong sense of the resilience as a story and having agency within that story. Um, and Sergio's put in there self-reflection. And Chris, I love the flexibility of the story model. And I was saying before, because since I've been working with you on resilience, it's made me really acknowledge the stories of resilience in my own life, and it's really boosting my confidence about what I can face in life. And Alison says, doing resilience rather than having it. That's a takeaway for Alison.
Thank you. And what I find really helpful here, there's something about when we're in a dire story, when it might be in our own lives, we're facing something difficult. It might be somebody that we're supporting, they're facing something difficult. It might be looking at a group of us, community, or in a bigger picture um, of our world. This question, what would a story of resilience look like here? But also, one of the things in story, restorying, one of the choice points, and I love this, by the way, that's a C, and that's me pointing to a C. This is a kind of motion I do just to remind me of choice point. And so this is such an important part of resilience, is recognizing choice points. One of our choice points is, what's the role we play in the story? And that one role is being a bystander, where we're just kind of watching on in horror. Another role might be as a victim. Another role might be that we're actually involved in causing the harm in some way. There's all kinds of different roles we can take. What I'm really wanting to invite as a choice point is this idea of I call it the what if maneuver. So what if, you might hold out your hand and say, what if, there's better ways, there's worse ways. But what you're also doing with this hand here is you're inviting consideration of different possibilities. And what if I were a resilience practitioner? There's something about inhabiting that role in the story that when you inhabit the role of a resilience practitioner, it changes your relationship to adversity. So that when you're in a difficult situation, there might be part of you that says, oh no, how awful, and sometimes feels like collapsing. But there can be another part of you that says, okay, what would a story of resilience look like here? And I might not be able to make that story, just like the circles and the square, but I can help it happen. Or that story can happen through me. And that's really what resilience practitioner training, the resources we've developed at collegeofwellbeing.com, that's really what it's all about. Madeline, you've got your hand up.
Yes, it was just to draw your attention to a question in the chat from Heather. They're asking what to do when someone you're trying to help is stuck and wants you to fix rather than be a self-agent within the process.
Yes, a really important question. And I think sometimes I might, if I think of this is a situation I've been in a lot, and sometimes there are things I can do that do help and fix, and sometimes that's appropriate. When I was a medical doctor, that was my role. There were certain things. But also as a coach, for example, my role is quite different. I'm not there to fix things. And what I'm wanting to support is somebody's sense that they have steps that they can take. So one of the things, if they're stuck, is that I would listen to and be alongside their stuckness. I think empathy is really the starting point. But then I might also explore, are there times in the past where they felt stuck and then things shifted? Because if they can identify that sequence of, I was stuck, it seemed like it was going nowhere, it was, I sometimes use that term, a going nowhere story, but then something changed. And I'd explore with them, what was it that changed? But also, were there things that they did that helped that change happen? And so that might be one way in, but I think it's more like, well, okay, we're holding a question here. I might even storyboard the challenge myself and say, okay, here's me supporting someone else who's stuck. What I hope is that, they'll find a way, they'll recover their agency. But in the way of that, I'd be interested in what's in the way of that. What's in the way of that for them? They may have had some experiences of trying to take steps that have worked out really badly and lost their confidence. But then I might also explore with them about what's a story of regaining confidence. For example, the story of a toddler learning to walk. They fall over, they get up, they fall over, they get up. If we can find that inner bounce ability, that side of us that just gets up after each fall, but also look at what does it mean to fall and fail? And that's where ideas like the growth mindset, this is the kind of thing we look at in much more detail in the resilience practitioner training. How do we work with stuckness? We're just really exploring that question. Madeline, any other things comments to pick up?
Alison was curious to learn more about Throughtopia.
Yes, me too. And I think one of the starting points is just to have it out there. So what I'm picking up, Alison, is that it's landed. It's landed sufficiently inside you to think, I'd like to find out more. And what happens is when you've got that, it's like a call to adventure that starts you on a journey of discovering. And what I'd recommend is just doing it as a Google search. But also, if you do Throughtopia and then Manda Scott, she's got an online resource available with a whole load of resources about Throughtopia. That might be a way of exploring it more. But it's also something that we pick up on and work with in the resilience practitioner training. I'm aware of the time, and I want to say thank you for this journey with me. If you've got questions around this, do feel welcome to email me. My email address is findyourpower@mac.com. I think you would have had all the details sent to you from there, but I'm going to write it in the chat window anyway. Feel welcome to email me at findyourpower@mac.com. And if you're interested in the Resilience Practitioner training, there is an early bird discount, and that brings the price down a bit. And that also, if the price is out of your reach, there is a concession rate too. So if you really want to do the course and money is an issue, do ask me about that for the concession rate. We've run this course most years since 2015, and it's one of my favorite courses. So I just want to say thank you so much. Great to spend this time with you.